Welcome back to another video of you football friends, and today we are doing Premier League predictions game week 30 now. It's the first week back in the Premier League and I'm so excited that the Premier League is back. I've got another video about one player to watch out for from each club. Make sure to check that out, and yeah, I'm going to be doing this every week, so hit the notification bell to see when I upload these kind of videos. And if you do enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and let's just get started. Before I start this video though, I want to say something that you can get involved in now, because Premier League is back and it's just so exciting. I haven't had it for ages. I'm going to be starting a prediction league. Now, you don't have to send anything to me. I mean, if you do, I'll put it in the video. But we're going to start a prediction league where you just comment down below. Of course, send it to me, but you don't have to. Think simpler to write your predictions in the comments below, and we will do a prediction league and see who gets the most points. So 3 points for a win. So say if I predicted Villa, Sheffield United, I think if I predicted 1-0 Sheffield United and the score is 1-0 Sheffield United, then I will get 3 points. However, if I predicted 3-0 Sheffield United and the score is still 1-0, then I will only get 1 point. So you probably know how it works. And also, if you want, I can start a fantasy Premier Football League for the Premier League. If you want that, just comment down below and I'll send you the code. So for this predictions video, I am going to do this with my friends Ethan and Safi. So they're going to give their predictions as well, and they're also going to probably compete in this league. And when I will upload a video by saying how much everyone got. So anyway, let's get started with the first game. It's Aston Villa, Sheffield United. Over to you, Ethan.
And now for my first game, Arsenal-Man City. Come on, you Gunners. I think it's actually going to be a 2-2 draw. Arteta obviously knows the tactics for Man City, and Pep won't change the tactics for one game, even though he would have the time. It would feel quite unusual for the players heading into their next game. But I think that Arsenal will grab a 2-2 draw. Also, with Aubameyang wanting to do his best because he wants to leave, and loads of players will be bursting to get back onto the pitch, which they haven't done for so long.
Right, so I see the first game back is Sheffield United, Aston Villa, 6 o'clock. Aston Villa not had the best of seasons in relegation, and a few positives such as Jack Grealish and Tyrone Mings having really good seasons, but I think Sheffield United will come on top here with a 2-0 win. They've been brilliant all season, and I think they can continue this form to push for Europe.
Now, my prediction is Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 1. But now, this you may think that Sheffield United would probably easily win, but this is in a not the greatest situation. Now, Sheffield United do have hard, experienced players at the back, but I think Aston Villa will nab a draw because they must be really spirited because they're in a big relegation fight. They really don't want to get relegated. I think they will get relegated, but they'll just be really up for that, and I think they will snatch a draw. Now, I'm going to go first for this one, Man City Arsenal, and I'm going for another draw, and it's going to be a 2-2 draw. Now, many of you thinking, what are you saying? Why do you think Arsenal draw? Well, I think Man City they won't be, they won't be trying as hard as Arsenal. Arsenal trying to get Champions League or even Europa League qualification. Man City, they're banned from the Champions League, and their appeal doesn't look like it's going to work. And I think Arsenal will snatch a draw, but it could go either way. It depends what type of Arsenal will turn up. Will it be the improving Arteta Arsenal, or will it be some disappointing Arteta Arsenal, against Olympiacos and stuff? But yeah, I'm going with a 2-2 draw.
And now for my first game, Arsenal-Man City. Come on, you Gunners. I think it's actually going to be a 2-2 draw. Arteta obviously knows the tactics for Man City, and Pep won't change the tactics for one game, even though he would have the time. It would feel quite unusual for the players heading into their next game. But I think that Arsenal will grab a 2-2 draw, also with Aubameyang wanting to do his best because he wants to leave, and loads of players will be bursting to get back onto the pitch, which they haven't done for so long.
Next game I see is Arsenal against Manchester City. This is a really interesting game as Arsenal need to make top 4. Man City on the other hand don't have much to fight for after being banned from Europe and a long way away from the title. But I still think they'll win this game. I'm going with a 3-1 Manchester City win.
Next up is Norwich City versus Southampton. Now Norwich are bottom. Southampton, don't think they're in the relegation battle, but they could still have a chance of getting relegated. But I do think actually Norwich will snatch a win. Yes, they'll miss their fans at home, but something, I've got this feeling in my, brain that's whatever, that Norwich will steal a win. So I'm going for a 1-0 victory.
We move on to Norwich-Southampton, and I think that Southampton will grab a 1-0 win. Danny Ings getting back to his goal-scoring ways. I think that he'll belt her in a goal, getting Southampton a win, and continue their good form.
Now another big relegation teams play against each other. Southampton in a more comfortable position. I think they're 13 points ahead of Norwich, and they think that Southampton will actually settle for a loss here. I think Norwich are going to have the big boost to try and stay up. They thought that it would be null and void, but it hasn't for them. They wanted null and void so they can stay up with it. The Norwich fans will be disappointed, but I still think that they'll manage to climb up a few places but not stay up. But I'm going for this particular game, Norwich 2, Southampton 1.
Alright, now on to one of the probably, along with the Merseyside derby, one of the biggest, and Man City Arsenal, one of the biggest games, and it is Manchester United, Tottenham versus Manchester United. Now, that is going to be a big game, especially I support Tottenham, and I think it's going to, I don't want it to happen, but I think Man United will snatch a victory, Pogba, Fernandes, that is an insane midfield, Rashford is back, and I think they will get Champions League qualification, but I don't see Tottenham getting, I'm afraid. I'm going with a 3-1 Manchester United win.
And now for a really exciting match, Tottenham versus Man U. And I think there's going to be a 2-1 win for Manchester United away from home. Manchester United will obviously want to keep up their great form they were in before the break, and I think that they'll do that. Bruno Fernandes will want to get a goal and get an assist as well. Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial will be bursting for pace. They'll charge down the wings and at the front, and I think that the Tottenham defenders can't hand it.
The next game is a big one. It is Tottenham against Man United. Another two top 4 teams, both pushing for Europe. Man United in a more comfortable position than Tottenham, and I think that they only managed to get a draw. With Tottenham having Son and Kane back, I think they've got a really good chance to push for Europe, but they won't be able to get past that midfield of Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba.
So I'm going to record on a different day, and now today we're going on to Saturday's predictions, and the first one is Watford v Leicester. Now Watford are trying to stay up, and I think they will. I think Nigel Pearson will definitely stay them up. Of course, Nigel Pearson rescued Leicester from relegation before, obviously you know what happened next, but Brendan Rodgers' side looked to have Champions League qualification, but I do think Watford will give us a shock, and I think they will win 2-1.
Again, another team that really wants to continue on their form. It's Leicester versus a team that want to stay out of relegation, Watford. And I think that Leicester will get a 2-0 win away from home. Vardy getting one goal and Harvey Barnes getting the other. I think that the Leicester team is so pacey and they've worked so well together as a team. I think everyone in that team is a real team player and they link up really well with each other.
And now again, another massive game. It is Watford against Leicester. Watford trying to stay up. Leicester probably going to make Europe. They've pretty much secured that. But Watford, I think, will stay up, and I think they need to get desperate points, and I think they'll get a good draw here. Yes, Leicester are third, but I think Watford are going to be really solid at the back. They've managed to pick up after a bad start, and I think at their best we see they can beat any team after beating Liverpool. So I think that Watford will manage to get a vital draw against Leicester. And we move on to another game. It is Arsenal against Brighton. Arsenal won every game in 2020 in the Premier League. Brighton hasn't won one in 2020. And I think that pretty much says it. 2-0 Arsenal, Aubameyang to score twice.
Next up is Brighton Arsenal, the second time we're predicting an Arsenal match this week, and I think Arsenal will win. I think they'll win 2-0. I think Brighton, yes, they're in the relegation zone, but I think they will also stay up. And I mean, yes, they're hard to break down, Brighton, but I think Arsenal will be too good for them. 2-0 victory. What do you think, Ethan? Of course, it's your favourite team. What do you think?
Moving on to Arsenal again, and they're away again, but versus Brighton, who a team that has not won in this 2020 season, so 2020 so far, and I think that it will remain like that. Arsenal will grab a 2-1 win away from home. Aubameyang will get a goal, and I think that the Arsenal attack will be too much for the Brighton defence. Brighton have been really inconsistent, especially in the defence, and I think that will continue.
Right now, two teams taking place here, Arsenal and Brighton. Big game, one team hasn't won in 2020, the other one has won all their games in 2020 in the Premier League. And that makes it easy to decide. I'm going 2-0 Arsenal win, Aubameyang to score twice.
For the 5:30 game now, and it is West Ham United versus Wolves. Now, this is a game that might, well, if you predicted, might be, a Europa League, two teams fighting for Europe. But one team is actually doing that and even fighting for Champions League. The other could be in the Championship next season. Now, I do think West Ham will easily stay up. I think they've got enough quality in their team, but they're just underachieving so much. And but I do think they'll get a draw here. I'm going for a 2-2 draw.
Moving on to West Ham Wolves, and I think that Wolves will get a 3-1 win away from home. I think that Wolves' attackers really want to get back onto their goal-scoring ways, and especially Adama Traore with his brilliant pace and shooting. Jimenez wants to bag in some goals, get some winning goals, and I think that Jota would like to do the same, especially when he was on great form before the break. I think that West Ham have been really inconsistent. They've got loads of inconsistent players and a really inconsistent manager, and I think that they'll really struggle.
Next game again is a big one. It is West Ham against Wolves. West Ham, on paper it looks like a European match, but it really isn't. Wolves having a really good season. West Ham vulnerable to relegation. Wolves have been brilliant with Raul Jimenez and Diego Jota leading their attack. West Ham haven't had many positives. I don't think they're able to get much from this game. I think it's going to be a 2-0 win for Wolves. Diego Jota and Jimenez both to score.
Now, next up is Bournemouth Crystal Palace. Now, I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think because these two teams are they're quite low scoring, especially Palace. Bournemouth got much leaky defence, and I think Bournemouth will go down. And but I think it will be a 0-0 draw, dull 0-0 draw. So over to you, Ethan.
Bournemouth Palace now, and I'm going for a 2-0 win for Crystal Palace. I think that the attackers would want to get back to their goal-scoring ways, and especially versus an inconsistent Bournemouth, which I think will get relegated.
And now for the first game ever in the Premier League to be shown on BBC, it's Crystal Palace against Bournemouth. Not the best of games, but is a big match for Bournemouth, who currently sit in 18th, but tied points with 16th. The relegation probably all go down to goal difference, so every goal counts, and I think Bournemouth will manage to get a point here. I think a 0 draw, not the best attacking team, so I think that's pretty fair to say. They're quite good defensively. I don't think Wilfried Zaha can carry Aston Villa on their own to get past that solid Bournemouth defence.
Newcastle, Sheffield United, and well, it's a hard one. I think it will be a good quality game. I think lots of Newcastle players will want to prove themselves to, the potential takeover owners, because obviously going to have if it does happen, they're going to have an overload, and probably lots of players will be sold. Now, Joe Linton, I mean, if you watched my one player to watch out from each club in the Premier League, which please do check out if you haven't. But yeah, I said that Joe Linton might just prove everyone wrong, and yeah, I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be a draw.
Newcastle, Sheffield United now. Sheffield United we are talking about again, and I think that Sheffield United will grab a 1-0 win. It was different away at Bramall Lane when Newcastle picked up a 2-0 win. But I think that with Newcastle not in form before the break, I think that they'll pick up their inconsistent form after when the Premier League comes back, losing to Sheffield United 2-0.
Now we move on to Sunday, and the first game is Sheffield United against Newcastle. Both teams with pretty good seasons for their standards, and I think it won't end like that. I think Sheffield United will get a 2-0 win again. Newcastle have been good this season, but have been a bit leaky at the back at sometimes. They won't be able to stop Sheffield United's pace, and they'll just outclass them to give them the 3 points that they'll need to push them up to Europe.
Now we go to Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Now, it's going to be an interesting game, but I do think Chelsea will easily triumph. I think it will be a 3-1 victory for Chelsea. I think that Frank Lampard's side will be too good for them.
Chelsea, Aston Villa now, and I'm going for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. I think that Chelsea will score 2 and then Villa will score 1 and then put pressure on Chelsea for the rest of the game. Jack Grealish is going to move, and I think that with players like John McGinn, Wesley Moraes and Tom Heaton back for Aston Villa, I think that they can cause some threat and move up in the table and get out the relegation zone.
The next game is my team, our first game, Chelsea against Aston Villa. This should be a really entertaining game, as Aston Villa will maybe cause a few problems for us with Jack Grealish and John McGinn coming back. However, I don't think they'll be able to cope up with us. I think it'll be the same score as the reverse fixture, a 2-1 win. Aspilicueta and Abraham to score for us, maybe John McGinn to score on his return for Aston Villa.
Now, the Merseyside derby, one of the biggest games of the Premier League season without fans. Now, that is a big loss, especially for Everton. I think the fans are the reason why maybe Everton and Liverpool, Everton have always got, at least a draw, low-scoring games with Liverpool. But maybe without fans, maybe you would think Liverpool would thrash. But I think Carlo Ancelotti has something up his sleeve. I think he will nab a draw for Everton. I'm going for 1-1.
The Merseyside derby now, Everton-Liverpool, and I'm going for a really tight game, and it's going to be a 1-0 Liverpool win. Obviously, last year it was a 0-0 draw at Goodison, but I think it'll be a 1-0 win for Liverpool. Liverpool will find it unusual with no fans. Their fans are great, home and away, and I think that with all their main players back, I think they'll get 1 goal.
We are also glad football is back, and this is one of the perfect fixtures for it. The Merseyside derby, Everton versus Liverpool. Everton sit in mid-table, again challenging for Europe like so many other teams, and they probably won't get it. Liverpool pretty much secured the title, and I don't think anyone can stop them since this Premier League restart. They'll be so motivated they can finally lift the trophy, so I think it will end up in this game, Liverpool 3, Everton 1. Everton will probably get late consolation, but they won't be able to hold up with Liverpool's absolutely classy midfield attack and defence.
Manchester City, Burnley now, and I think it'll be a walkover for Man City. Yes, Burnley you might seem they hard to break, but Man City will be too good for them. Their quality is just too good. I think 4-1. So yeah, Ethan, what do you think?
And finally, Man City Burnley. Man City have a brilliant record versus Burnley, so I'm going for a 5-0 Man City win. I think that their players are so pacey versus Burnley, and they just show such great composure versus Burnley, not missing a single chance. Every chance they get turns into a goal.
And now the final game of this game week 30, and it is a good one. Man City against Burnley. Burnley really having a great season, 10th place, challenging for Europe. Manchester City, as I talked about their European ban, won't have to give it their all, but I don't think Burnley won't be able to cope with them, but they'll give them a good fight. So I'm going to go full time, Manchester City 3, Burnley 2. Maybe Man City will get a late winner to get them 3 points, but that won't mean much to them. Burnley need to pick up points if they want to do another miraculous Europe win. But they didn't get it last time, so maybe this is their second chance to get into Europa League, or maybe even the Champions League.
And that brings us to the end of this prediction video. I'm sorry it's quite late, but please do remember to write your predictions before the games below so I can enter you in, just a little fun prediction league and lockdown for the Premier League. But thank you for watching. I've been with friends. Stay safe.